When they say that you find out who people really are leading up to your wedding, they are very, very right. I had the unfortunate experience of finding out a month before my
I watched that story time, so you don't have to, so let's get into it. As Nicole said, she got up here and did a story time talking about how she saw the true colors of some of the people in her life for the entire month leading up to her wedding. She said, for context, she's never had a good relationship with her now husband's side of the family, and she said that both her and his side of the family have their own reasonings as to why they do not like each other. Nicole said there were even times where she sat down with her own friends and went through the entire relationship between her and her husband's side of the family, and neither her nor her friends can figure out why his family does not like Nicole. Nicole said the most strained relationship is between her and her husband's sister. Nicole even said the first time she ever met the sister-in-law, the mother-in-law, the husband, and the sister-in-law's mom pulled Nicole to the side and was like, yeah, it's going to take a while for my daughter to warm up to you because she's, quote, never had to share her brother before. Oh my God. Nicole said that it didn't start out with them arguing back and forth, but that there's just always been this tense and bad energy anytime her and the sister have had to be around each other. Eventually, the husband, who at that time was just Nicole's fiance, gets tired of the bad blood between his future wife and his sister. Nicole said he made them have a conversation over the phone to essentially squash any beef between the two of them. Nicole went on to say that that phone conversation was probably the best, but also the worst thing that could have ever happened. Nicole said the sister-in-law got on the phone and began to lecture Nicole about how she was failing as a partner, about how if she were in Nicole's place, she would be doing X, Y, and Z for your brother. Nicole said she actually went as far as to chastise her over allowing the brother to clean up after himself and do stuff that is essentially like the woman's job. Nicole said that she just sat on the phone and took it, but once the sister-in-law was done lecturing her, she responded by telling the sister-in-law that maybe her energy was best spent focusing on her own relationship. Let's just say that Nicole making that comment was basically the final nail in the coffin. Nicole said that phone conversation happened years ago. They've had years to try to work on the relationship and fix things, but she said they just have not been able to move past it. As the wedding started to get closer, Nicole said she debated back and forth as to whether or not she should invite the sister to be a bridesmaid. No, you shouldn't. I could have told you that. But Nicole said that she thought that they were at a point where she believed that inviting the sister-in-law to be a bridesmaid could potentially be a good thing, and it in fact was not. Now, Nicole said that she's had bad blood with everyone on her husband's side of the family. But as the wedding started to get closer, they all slowly but surely started to open up a little bit, and his side of the family did eventually throw Nicole a bridal shower. Seems nice, except for the fact that Nicole had already previously asked everyone to not throw her a bridal shower specifically. And she went on to say that she wishes she would have stood her ground on that more because she does feel as though the bridal shower started some of the major issues between her and his side of the family. He said that some of the main reasons there's always tension is because his side of the family always finds an issue with everything Nicole does, everything she doesn't do, everything she says, everything she doesn't say, and they just like to make a huge commotion out of everything. Nicole eventually decided to block his entire family on social media because they just like to watch her stuff and nitpick and pick apart everything. Nicole then went on to talk about how right before the wedding, her husband went on his bachelor's trip, so she decided to have a fun girls' day out with her friends. So she goes out with her friends, she has too much to drink, her friends drop her off back at the hotel, and she eventually sleeps it off. Nicole wakes up, she decides to make a video. In the video, she's essentially ranting about her day. She's talking about how she's upset that she accidentally drank too much and she slept through all the fun plans that she had. And then she finished the video by saying, and to top it all off, I just found out that my fiance's on a boat with other women on his bachelor's trip. Come to find out, when Nicole was at the pool with her friends drinking, she got a FaceTime from her fiance. While they were on the FaceTime, she heard women's voices in the background. He turns the camera and he shows that lo and behold, there are other women on the boat that him and his friends had rented. He obviously asked why there's women on the boat. He tells her that when they were all clubbing the night before, his friends met these girls at the club and they invited the girls onto the boat. Nicole said that obviously this started an argument between the two of them because had the roles been reversed and she was on a boat with random men, he would have been upset. She makes this video essentially blasting her fiance, she posts it online, and somehow the video makes its way back to all of his female cousins. And it makes it back to his female cousins the day before her bridal shower. The same day that everyone saw the video, her and her fiance had also driven to go pick up one of his other female cousins, and then after picking her up, they all went out to lunch. She went on to say that they had a really nice lunch, they laughed, they joked, they talked, so on and so forth. Once they get back in the car, the fiance tells Nicole that he wants to drive out to the house that his family rented to say hi to everyone first, and then him and Nicole can drive back home afterwards. Nicole said they would have to drive an hour to the house that his family rented, they would have to drive an hour all the way back home, and they had already previously agreed that they were going to finish booking their honeymoon that day. So she admits that she caught a slight attitude, and she responded by saying that wasn't the plan that they had originally agreed on. Apparently, Nicole ended up offending his female cousin that was sitting in the back seat. They do end up driving out to the house, they drop the cousin off, and then once they leave, the cousin proceeds to tell the entire family how concerned she is for the fiance. The cousin told the family that Nicole and the fiance were fighting in front of her and that it was so awkward and uncomfortable, that Nicole was so extremely disrespectful, and then that compounded with the fact that they had all already seen the video of Nicole blasting the fiance for being on a boat with other women, it just made everything 10 times worse. His family felt like Nicole's video was an attempt at disparaging the fiance, who in their eyes is a perfect man. They said Nicole was shit-talking him, and they also accused Nicole of lying about him having other women on the boat. Nicole said she's not really sure how that entire conversation went with his family after the cousin told them all that, but apparently it was so bad that the sister-in-law claimed she was so upset that she wasn't able to sleep all night. Nicole said that she found out the next morning the sister-in-law went into the room of another family member who was at the house, and she began to ask them how they felt about Nicole. To find out, that family member apparently looked the sister-in-law in the face and was like, maybe Nicole's a bitch because you're always being a bitch. Clock that tea. Mind you, Nicole still doesn't know that any of this has happened, so once she shows up for the bridal shower, she said it ended up being the most awkward and painful experience of her life. Nicole shows up to the bridal shower with her mom, her sister, and her friends, and she said that they walked into what was essentially a wall of her fiance's family, and her fiance's family refused to speak to any of them at her bridal shower. Now, Nicole said that she had previously attempted to plan a bachelorette trip. She invited the sister-in-law, but the sister-in-law claimed that she couldn't make it. But then eventually, Nicole's fiance approached her to let her know that the sister-in-law actually did want to go, but she just didn't have transportation, so he was trying to find a way to get his sister-in-law to Nicole and her other friends so the sister-in-law could be included on the bachelorette trip. While at the bridal shower, Nicole attempted to approach the sister-in-law to let her know that she was still welcome to come on the bachelorette trip, but that if she did want to come, she needed to let Nicole know something because Nicole needed to get another hotel room because as of right now, they only had enough hotel rooms for the bridesmaids who had agreed that they were going to go. Considering his family wasn't speaking to anyone at the bridal shower, she just ignored Nicole. Bridal shower ends, the next day rolls around, and the fiance's grandmother ends up showing up. Grandmother approaches Nicole and ends up telling her to not pay attention to who did say hi to her, who didn't say hi to her, who made a stank face at her, nothing, because all that matters is whether or not her and the fiance are on good terms with each other. It was in that moment that Nicole realized that something must be going on because why would his grandmother feel the need to say that? Well, Monday rolls around and that's when Nicole finally figures out what everyone's problem is because she gets confronted by her mother-in-law. The mother-in-law is pissed. She's pissed about the video. Nicole said that her and her fiance were both caught off guard, and the fiance actually told his mom that he already knew about the video and he didn't see anything wrong with the video, so he wasn't sure why everyone was getting upset on his behalf. The mom told him that she did not find it acceptable and the rest of the family didn't think it was acceptable. The fiance ends up telling his family that it's obvious they came into the conversation with their minds already made up based off of conversations they very clearly went and had in private. He just wanted them to know that as the person the video was made about, he had no issues with it, he wasn't upset about it, and if they wanted to be mad, that was their prerogative, but he was not going to be entertaining it anymore. At that point, Nicole's confused as to how they even saw the video because remember, she blocked everybody. She's not confused for long because eventually she gets a profile view on her TikTok account. And the profile view says that it's somebody who's in her contact list on her phone. Come to find out, it's the sister-in-law's fiance's TikTok that the sister-in-law and the rest of the family, I guess, are using to page watch Nicole. Nicole takes a screenshot, she creates a group chat with her mother-in-law, her sister-in-law, and her fiance, and she confronts them. However, Nicole says that every time she attempts to confront the sister-in-law just runs and tattletales to her brother. Then Nicole eventually gets a call from her fiance where he's like, yeah, my sister just called me and she told me that you and her bridesmaids are shit-talking her. The sister also accused Nicole and the other bridesmaids of sitting around and talking about other men at the bridal shower. So that's when Nicole makes a group chat with all of her other bridesmaids and she tells them everything that's going on. Like, this is what's happening, this is what the sister said, this is what the sister is accusing us of, did stuff like this happen at the bridal shower? All of the bridesmaids agreed that none of that ever happened. So Nicole screenshots the conversation between her and her other bridesmaids, sends it to the mother-in-law and the sister-in-law and the fiance. In that screenshot, you could see a message between Nicole and her other bridesmaids where she went on to tell them that the sister-in-law was using the fiance's account to snoop. The sister completely deflects and ends up going off about the fact that she's being called a snoop. Ends up telling Nicole that she just needs to calm down because she wasn't snooping and that she actually just looked on purpose because Nicole had her blocked. So, snooping. Nicole ended up saying that the big takeaway from that conversation was that the sister-in-law was mad at Nicole for making the video about her brother, and essentially the sister-in-law felt as though Nicole shouldn't be able to make videos about her brother at all. Nicole said she was sitting there like, girl, this is my man. I can make videos about him. I can be upset with him. I can be annoyed with him. I can have an attitude with him. Nicole said obviously she didn't say that to the sister because then the sister would go and tattletale to her brother, even though the sister is in her 30s. Nicole then found out that the sister-in-law told the fiance that while at the bridal shower, Nicole approached her and told her that if she wanted to go on the bachelorette trip, she would have to be in a hotel room by herself. Nicole was like, no, I never said that. I was just trying to make sure that we had enough rooms for everybody. I never said that she had to be in one by herself. And then come to find out the only reason the sister-in-law thinks that Nicole and her friends are shit-talking her is because the flower girl went back and told the sister-in-law that she overheard Nicole and the bridesmaids saying something that involved the sister-in-law's name. So at that point, Nicole fired the flower girl. She told the flower girl's mother, like, look, I'm not comfortable having her be my flower girl if what she's really here to do is try to eavesdrop on me and my friends and family's conversations, twist what we're saying, and then run back and try to stir the pot. Nicole said that started an all-out war between her and that little girl's mom, where that little girl's mom was going low, and so Nicole admits that she was going lower. Nicole said that they all like to talk about her and her personal business as if they don't have stuff going on in their own lives that Nicole could also talk about. Nicole said they should not be throwing stones while living in glass houses. Nicole said she's never received an apology from any of them except for the cousin that went back and told everybody that Nicole and the fiance were fighting in front of her in the car. Then come to find out, the day before the wedding, after the rehearsal dinner, the fiance went back to the rented house with his family. Nicole went back to the hotel with her mom so they wouldn't see each other before the wedding. While the fiance was out there with his family, he ended up talking with them about everything that's been going on. So that same cousin who apologized ended up telling the fiance about how he didn't need to marry Nicole, and that cousin and the family were telling him how he could do better and he deserved better. Obviously, Nicole feels as though that apology was disingenuous. Nicole said essentially the final cherry on top was when Nicole experienced a death in her family. In the midst of her grief, his family was still calling him on a regular basis, talking shit about Nicole, talking about how they don't know how he tolerates her, how he deals with her, he shouldn't marry her, so on and so forth.